Unit 4, Learning Target 2A. I can identify terms, factors, coefficients, and the degree of a polynomial. A term is a single number or variables multiplied or divided together by other numbers or variables. A factor is a quantity that, when it is multiplied with another quantity, gives a specific product. A coefficient is the number multiplied or divided with the variable. And a leading coefficient is the coefficient with the variable having the highest exponent. A degree is the highest power in a polynomial. Our first example, we have x to the 6th minus x to the 4th minus 4x squared plus 4 equals 0. We have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 terms. The leading coefficient is 1 because the coefficient of the x to the 6th power is 1. The degrees is 6 because the highest power is a 6. The factors, we have to actually factor this thing by grouping because there is not a GCF and it doesn't factor any other way. So we're going to group the first 2 terms together, added with the second 2 terms. When we take the GCF of the first one, we have x to the 4th, which leaves us with an x squared minus 1. When we take the GCF of the second one, we have negative 4, which leaves us with an x squared minus 1. When we put this together, we have an x to the 4th minus 4 and an x squared minus 1, both of which are the difference of perfect squares. So we do have to factor both of those again. Both of these will require a set of binomials. So I'm going ahead and setting up the parentheses for that. For this first one, we know it's a difference of perfect squares, so a difference of perfect squares gets a plus and a minus. Our square root of x to the 4th, or the factors of x to the 4th, are x squared and x squared, and the factors of 4 are 2 and 2. Okay, the x squared minus 1 is also a difference of perfect squares, so it gets a plus and a minus. The factors of x squared are x and x, and the factors of 1 are 1 and 1. For our next example, we have our 3x squared plus 13x plus 4 equals 0. We have 3 terms. We have a term, and a term. The leading coefficient is 3. The degree is 2. And the factors are, by slide and divide, 3x plus 1 and x plus 4, using slide and divide. Our last example is actually a word problem. We're writing an equation that has a degree of 3, a factor of 0, with a leading coefficient of 2. So it's an equation, it must have a y equals. My leading coefficient of 2 and a factor of 0 means that I want a 2x. And then I'm going to use anything with a square in it, like my x squared plus 3x minus 1, so that when I multiply this out, I end up with a degree of 3. You see, once we distribute, we do end up with 2x cubed, that's a degree of 3, plus 6x squared minus 2x.